Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Iron Horse Weekly. Coming up in this week's video we have a giveaway from DCC Concepts, we have layout updates as well, and we also have news on where you can find a Class 66 for 66 quid. Roll the intro. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, whatever it is at the minute to you all. Welcome to another exciting edition of Iron Horse Weekly. So we're going to kick off with a little bit more weathering. This time we're going to have a look at the Acura Scale MHAs. This is the third of the three that I got in the pack, and I'm going to give this one a much heavier weathering job than the other ones. So as usual, we start by gathering the ingredients, and then we're going to actually start by giving this one a wash with black and smoke powders mixed together. This just makes the smoke a bit darker and the black a bit lighter. The basis for this wash is a little bit of tap water, tiny bit of washing up liquid, and a little bit of IPA. Then we'll just mix it into the cap of the powder, whisk it all together, and then apply it liberally. Once you've covered all the basic areas, you can just remove the excess with a soft cotton bud. And what that'll do is give a nice basis for all the other powders and lacquers and things to stick to. You just need to be careful around the ends because of the details which I've fitted previously. Ideally I should have fitted the details after, but I got excited and fitted them all at once. So here we are, being nice and careful around the edges there, and it's important to get the ends of the wagons as well because they would have been particularly dirty. Anyway, now the wash is out of the way, we're going to start applying some of the matte coats which we saw last week, and then we're going to start adding detail to the frame first, and then we're going to build up layers just like last time, and then we can blend on the model itself. So even if a particular powder might look too bright to begin with, we can tone it down, and because we've used the matte coat as a base, we can push the powders into the matte coat when it's still sticky, and it really helps us blend things together nicely. Then it's just a matter of, as always, building up the layers, changing the shades over. If you have a reference picture, take a glance at it every now and again. It doesn't need to be exactly like the reference picture, as long as you've got the general idea of it. And once it's finished, it should look something a bit like this. So this is a picture of a real MHA wagon which served as our inspiration, and here's our MHA wagon. You can see we paid attention and we built up the muck and the dirt in the same areas as on the prototype. I think it's come out pretty well. Obviously there's going to be people that disagree with that, that's fine, but I'm happy with it. So let's crack on with the rest of this week's video. Right then, so we've got this blank area now. Back scene, I keep calling it a back scene, it's not a back scene, is it? The T-Rex farm is in place. That's removable, the wall is now set. Street scene still needs streeting, but now we have the yard. This is going to be the aggregates company yard thing, whatever, and this bit as well. So today, what we're going to do is start sticking some bits and pieces in place so we can get the layout of the yard sorted out. Look at the fencing, concrete barriers, containers, things like that. Just to footpath out what's going where and give us a better idea of what we can then go back to and then detail up. Let's have a look. Right, so first things first, we need to sort of map out a roadway that comes out of this tunnel into the yard. It's going to be rough, abandoned, it's the end of an industrial estate, you know, outside of town, so it's not going to be neat. First step is we're going to put some PVA down. This will help our ballast and flocks and things stick to the surface there. We're going to mash it in with a brush in a moment as well. Get it all nice and sticky and globby. And I'm just using normal PVA here, and the cheapest oldest brush I have, because it's going to get dirty, it's going to get messy, and it's probably going to end up ruined. My brush hygiene's terrible. Anyway, we're introducing some grass flock now, just to give the hint of a side of the road area there. Wetting the area down with water, IPA, and a little bit of washing up liquid. That's going to help the flock stick, penetrate. And I'm using, for some reason, the girder bridge to scrape back the ballast on the floor there to bring out the grey surface underneath for the next part. This is also going to give us a bit of a hard edge, if you will, to the roadway there, which works out really well. I mean, you can use whatever you want. I just so happen to have a girder bridge literally next to me, so I grabbed it and used it because I'm a bit of a barbarian. And all I'm doing here is just dry fitting where I want the fence to go before working the scenery up and around the fence, just to bed it in a little bit. Then I'll put on the other fence there. Eventually I'm going to fit a gate to these. I don't have a suitable one at the minute, but we're going to look at a gate. Now I've just sprayed the area with a little bit of matte lacquer, and I'm just dabbing some weathering powder on there. This is the smoke powder from Hornby. It's got a really nice, almost like a tarmac texture to it, but it's like a worn roadway. That's the sort of look we're going for here. So we're just going to layer that on there. I spray a bit more on, and just layer it up and layer it up and layer it up. That's the easiest way to go about it. Now we're back into the yard, and I'm just putting the offices in there, trying to find out where to put things, and we're going to put the little crash barriers down. Crash barriers are good, they're just eBay jobs, 3D printed, and it's just a matter of sticking them down with PVA glue. Nice and simple, really. Easy enough to do for anyone. But it certainly adds a bit of life to the scene, and we'll go back to these later on as well and weather them. Again, these sections of fences, just eBay jobs, a little bit of PVA on them just to help them stick in the ground. Quite fiddly to get them all to stand up, but eventually I got there. This bit, what I'm doing, I've got some gas modelling clay, and I'm just cutting out little sections of concrete or hard standing or whatever, because I'm going to put some PVA, stick them down, and these will make the basis for the refueling areas and what have you as well. You can see I've got the fuel pumps on there. I'll just work the edges down with a bit of a wet thumb in a minute as well, just to help it blend to the main surface there. And again, a little bit of spit on your thumb. It might be a little bit primitive, but it works. Easy enough to do. And the good thing about the clay is I can stick the fences in there as well. Don't have to mess about. So it works. It works really well. Go, I say. Then this just makes it look that little bit nicer because it's slightly raised. Bit of relief in there. It's not perfect like a lot of these sites. In real life, they wouldn't be perfect. That being said, I did already have a bit of a dry fit for where I wanted things to go in the yard. So if it seemed like I sort of know where I'm going, it's because I kind of do. And here we are, the morning after. Everything's dry now. Oh, that embankment looks really nice. That side looks really nice. We've got the back end here. This is where the wagons can refuel. We've got a little bagging area there for customers picking up individual bags of aggregates. We can see the AdBlue containers, the diesel tanks and the fuel pump, a little bin there for waste or whatever. You can see the oil stains where the wagons are parked whilst refueling. And of course we can add more detail to this as time progresses, or we get ideas as things continue on. But overall, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I think we'll now just have a big flyover of the whole area. But if you've seen some of the industrial estates that we have up here in the north, you'll know that an entrance road like that, the back of some forgotten estate, is very accurate. There's one in Skipton that I used to work at especially. It reminds me of, even with the tunnel entrance as well, so that's cool. Really like the offices now. Got a little car park there, and we've got the little skip depository. We've got the owner's personal taxi, which parks there. A little bit of moss growing on the ground. Offices there. This chap's having a mooch outside. Got some visitors from Network Rail. I need to weather that one actually. Yeah, we've got some domestic waste there, and a toilet. And this little loading area here. Waiting area where trailers can be unloaded, bits and pieces can come on off the wagon loads. We've got an aggregates bagging area where customers can come in, take away bag loads of bits and pieces, and of course we've got the various piles of aggregate and stone and what have you. And we've got a little refueling area there for the wagons. Obviously the wagons would back up in there. We've even got some oil spills and stuff there. Fuel pump and fuel tanks could do with a bit of weathering down, fair enough. Then we've got 2 tankers of AdBlue and what have you there. So that looks pretty good. Got the back in there. Little office there for the bagging area. I'm quite pleased with it now. Now we've got the basic layout of it. Oh, I need to weather that little shovel as well. Now I've got the basic layout done of it, I can focus on the street scene next, building up the path and adding things to it. There's a magpie outside the window. Yeah. Alright folks, so coming up to 20 episodes of Iron Horse Weekly very soon. So to celebrate, I'm going to do a little tiny giveaway. Okay, you can win yourself this DCC Concepts multi-power depot. It's the one that I reviewed a few videos back. Really useful for lifting your locos off the layout without touching them. Also for cleaning them, oiling wheels and things like that. So all you need to do is be subscribed to the channel, leave a comment below, and then send your entry to the email address in the comments, ironhorserailways@gmail.com, I think it is. I don't know my email address, that's weird, isn't it? And then in the body of the email, just state your YouTube name so I can correlate the email entry with the comments in the comment section. Simple as that. During episode 20, I will announce the winner. All the successful entries will be read out of the box, and I'll pull the winning number, a little piece of paper. Show it to the camera. It's old school, but it works, remember. So, to finalise, you must be subscribed to the channel, you must leave a comment, and when you send your email, you must state your YouTube name in the email body yourself. Title the email as episode 20 giveaway, and it's as simple as that. No questions to ask, just leave a comment, email me, let me know your YouTube channel, then I can check the comments. And you could have one of these awesome DCC Concepts multi-power depots. Easy. And finally, for this week, we're just going to end on a nice bit of modern image running session section thing, using the Bachmann Class 66. But speaking of Class 66s, this week I was made aware that Great Eastern Models are selling Hornby Class 66s for 66 quid and 40 quid for a decoder. So for 100 quid you get a DCC sound fitted Class 66. Now, yes, that would be the Hornby Railroad version, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because they're the Railroad one. They're a little bit easier to handle and they have plenty of scope for upgrading them. I know one of the intended upgrades I plan to do to mine, which should be with me this week, will be fitting a lighting kit to it. Obviously, with it being a railroad one, they don't have real lights, it's just molded plastic which is coloured to look like a light. So that's something I'm looking at doing in the future once I get hold of the actual model itself. I'm also going to be looking at fitting a better speaker to the unit as well, and quite even possibly a stay alive to the TTS decoder. So if you fancy a Class 66 for 66 quid, if you check the link in the description box, you could find a link to Great Eastern Models website, give them a call and place your order. It's as simple as that. So for this week, folks, thanks very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you've enjoyed what you've seen. It does help me and give me a lot of encouragement to make more videos. And with that, I'll leave you to it. See you soon. Thanks again. Bye bye.